Okay, so we are talking about doing our sales training today, and we are talking about, it's Thursday, November 11th. We're talking about the extending the dialogue after the price, which is our, way to stay engaged, to stay in conversation about the project without seeming pushy or unprofessional or, like we're only there until they say yes and we're not leaving until that. So it's a good way to extend the conversation, to have some good, pointed, intentional conversation, trying to get us closer to helping them in the decision. So that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to take some time to role play that. Again, it's November 11th. So you can kind of see where we've progressed to from when we started doing this. And we're going to go down the script. We are going to, if the situation warrants, going to ask some clarifying questions and dig into some things that may need to be dug into. But that's what we're going to do right now. And it's, as everybody knows, it's being recorded. So let's go ahead and jump off. Charlie, you said you wanted to be the homeowner or the DC?
I'll be DC. Can I pick homeowner?
I guess so.
Jenny. You're my homeowner.
All right.
Weird request,
So
Charlie. I don't think we've ever had anybody ask who they can pick the homeowner.
I'm just diving in. Let's go.
Go on it. All right. So, okay. You know what? I just need I just need some time to think on it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Jenny, I really appreciate all the time that you've spent today, and I totally understand. So I just want to make sure I understand, kind of where you're coming from. Can you, if let's say we were to take timeline off the table altogether, there was no timeline here. Could you think or identify any barriers or obstacles that would stand in the way from you becoming the Southwest Exterior family member? Can you think of anything that would, stand in the way as far as obstacles?
No, I think the company, everything that you told me about how, you're going to do the party on that side, and man, how bad it needs it at all it's all, important. So, and I think that, everything that you talk about indicates that Southwest Exterior is going to do a great job. So it's nothing about, the company. I think we're good there. I just gotta I just need some time.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. And we want you to have that time. Just so I understand, when you say you need time, is it more for planning purpose, would you say? Is it to think about the decision, just to get your budget correct? What would you say you really need the time for?
It's more just to kind of, I just hate making fast decisions about things. It's one of those things. I'm not a spontaneous purchaser. So if I'm surrounded by people, so I'm like, anyway, so we're doing role playing, guys. So, okay.
You having a party or what's going on?
My husband's having to get his hair cut by my niece, and so we've got my niece and my her son, and I'm like, anyway, so it's really, I just, like I said, even when I buy a car, I'm the person that, man, I go and I think about it, and I just have to feel comfortable and know that I'm making the right decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely. And so what you expressed to me was how long you did research, which was awesome. Thank you so much for pouring through those reviews. I remember you saying you read over 100 reviews, kind of going through all of those. So it didn't sound like you're kind of making a snap decision. And then today, I know that we did see some things. If I can pull up some pictures of some things that you didn't even notice was happening with your siding. So from a time standpoint, I know that's a little bit more sensitive. We want to get that taken care of as soon as we possibly can. But I just want to make sure that from time and the time that you need, that number one, I gave you all the information that I needed today. Was there anything that you felt like I failed to provide as far as giving the information to all the information that you could possibly need to make a well-informed decision?
No, I feel well informed. I feel like I know more than I probably really
Okay.
should.
Good.
So,
Yeah. So
no, this is a good thing.
what we're doing and the style of the siding, there's nothing that you would change. Is there anything that you would change about that?
No, I liked what we talked about.
Okay.
Yeah, I like what we talked about. I like kind of what we were looking at there. So, oh my God. I left the door open. Anyway, I can't wait to be in person next week. So no, everything. I mean, really, no. I feel very well. I feel really empowered. I feel like I feel really knowledgeable about what you're talking about. I feel like I said, it's just, man, it's I'm going to be writing you a $12,000 check today. And it's just a hard check to write, just on this,
Sure.
and I know, I guess it's not spontaneous, but it kind of feels a little like, and I guess I didn't make a fast decision.
Right. Well, you talked about that comfort, do you feel that comfort with Southwest Exteriors in trusting? Okay.
Yeah, and you as well. So
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel really comfortable.
That trust and confidence means the world to us. So what I want to do is, I definitely want to give you space. So part of my commitment is to make sure you get all of this information so you can take as much time as you need, of course, within this next 7 days. So what I'm going to do for you, Jenny, is we kind of talked about some companies that don't ever get back with you with bids. And I know you had that happen to you before. Is I'm actually going to take some time now to go out to my truck and for the next about 20 minutes or so, put together a really professional proposal for you to reflect on. Now, if you're like a lot of our clients that during that time, that's all you need, or you're probably already going to work with us. What I invite you to do is, just like this happened last week to me, is just send me a text and or just come out and knock on my window, and we can get all of that stuff put together for you right now. Kind of the advantage, I guess, if you were going to talk about doing it a little bit sooner, is just kind of get ahead of the lead time. If there's a couple more people that jump ahead of you, then you're kind of delaying the problem a little bit longer. So that would be an advantage, of course, of doing that. And then as soon as we're able to get that together, I'm going to have our service team come out and take care of a couple of those leaky areas, just kind of a temporary fix. So that way we get you taken care of so that water doesn't get into those areas. So if that's enough time for you, I would invite you just to let me help you get all that wrapped up and going today. And of course, if you need the 7 days, I respect that. So how's that sound?
That sounds
Awesome.
excellent. I'm
Okay.
super. Yeah, that's really I appreciate that a lot.
Absolutely. Well, I will, I'm going to be sending a text from you if I don't hear from you, just to make sure that I sent the email through to you. And I really, really appreciate the trust and confidence you displayed today, that you trust us to do the project. And we would absolutely love to have you as a Southwest Exterior family member. So appreciate the time today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all your time so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nice. Good job, man.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah.
So what was as a consumer, which is what we're trying to be in the mindset of, how did that grab you? What was there anything different that could have been done to maybe ease? It was all about comfort, which Charlie picked up on.
Right.
So what was there anything else that would have eased that comfort, or?
No, I actually, if we're a real scenario that, and she was talked about going to the car and about, especially the hey, we really, we can get you on the schedule, we can get this done as soon as possible. I want to send my service people out here to fix those leaks for you. If we, the sooner we get started on this, the sooner you're going to be in a comfortable home. That was particularly spurring to me. Like I think I would have, if real world scenario with that line, would have absolutely, I think I would have probably said, hey, you know what, let's get that on the schedule. Because I mean, obviously I'm comfortable with everything else. Comfortable with Charlie, comfortable with Southwest Exteriors. I'm not balking at the price. And just that little bit of like, kind of the cherry on top, it was enough that I think I would have been knocking on his window, or, like your clients last week walking outside with a checkbook. Hey, let's get this going. There's no reason to stay. Another thing that Charlie did, I think that was really well, was recognizing the client's amount of time that he or she or me, whatever, had spent doing research, their due diligence, recognizing that this is an educated consumer, not a not a rube. So lots of good stuff there.
Good. Awesome. Any other viewpoints, feedback? Okay. So I think you did an awesome job, Charlie. I mean, that was really well done. I would offer up an alternative, as I was really listening intently to you and what you were saying. So where I was going in my brain is definitely comfort. That's what you kept talking about. You talked about, really, I think the crescendo of that comfort was, I don't want to write a check for $12,000 today. So where I went instantly in my mind, and this isn't, please don't mishear me, this isn't, you did great. I don't think there was anything wrong with that. I'm offering an alternative solution, which is why we're doing this, is to get viewpoints and perspectives that, that we can all latch onto, or we can latch onto multiple ones. So I think another route we could have gone to ease that pain is, again, social proof, normalizing it. Ginny, I understand completely. It's a big check to write. And most people don't write that. I hear this all the time from clients we help with their projects. I hear them all the time that this is the biggest check they've ever written. That's normal. Everybody's going through the same thing you're feeling right now, right here. If I can, just offer a solution that seems, it has worked very well for people in the same situation as yourself, that, man, just the fact of putting the pen to that check and writing that large amount, it's it can be daunting. But what we've done in cases just like yours, with previous clients, is basically, hey, we can write the check now. Again, you've told me there's no other reservations to you working with us on this project. Is that correct? You still feel that way? Okay, so getting a confirmation that, yeah, we're still good, all systems go. Okay, well, if you really do feel that strongly, here's my suggestion is let's go ahead. We can write the check, okay, for the deposit amount, just like, we would be just taking that initial step, right, to get us a little bit further down the road to getting done, which, we both know you need to get done. So you don't incur bigger and even larger expenses from the rot getting worse. But let's do that. And then, I'll give 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is you need. We'll hold on to that. Okay. Just again, for that comfort, to let that sink in a little bit, for you to get okay with the fact of, what's has to happen, obviously, because we have to have a deposit to start the project. So it's a normal step. It's a step you're going to take no matter who you go with. Right. So let's give you some time for that to marinate a little bit. Let's give you some time to get comfortable with that. And then you give me a call when you're ready for us to actually deposit the check. But at least we're getting that first initial step, because that's the biggest hurdle, that we hear from our clients, that pulling out the checkbook, putting pen to the paper and writing that check is the biggest hurdle that they're going to have to jump over in this entire process. So I would just suggest, as I've heard being very easy for our other clients, is let's get that step out of the way. If you wake up tomorrow or the next day with serious anxiety about what you're doing, we'll quit everything. Okay. We'll get you check back to you, no deposit, no funds, no penalties, whatever. But at least we're getting some forward progress towards getting this done by at least writing the check today and then giving you a couple days to really think on it. Okay. Or let it sink in, so we're not doing it so abruptly, so quickly where you're writing the check and by 30 minutes from now, we're going to cash it. So going that route, you know what I mean? Because that's really what she wants is comfort, but you still, that is I've done this with people. That is the biggest anxiety, is putting that pen on that check and writing $12,000. And she even brought it up. So, it's on her mind. So that's another route that we could have gone here of like, hey, I'm hearing you, but I'm still wanting to get us forward progress. Right. So that's another option. That's just where my mind went as I was listening to her and really tuning into what she was saying. It's another option, another route we could have gone. Right. And it's still giving her what she really wants, which is comfort, because I'm not going to run off to the office 5 minutes after I leave her house and cash a check. But that's going to feel good to her knowing that it's written and at least there was some progress, but I'm not cashing it for 2 to 3 days whenever I hear from her. So that was just a little feedback. Again, I think both ways are excellent ways to handle it. It's just whatever you feel comfortable with.
Ryan, thanks for that feedback. I've always been a bigger fan of working it out if it's just a single homeowner in the home and not doing a porch close. In my experience, what are they going to sit there and think about? They're probably already there. It just needs to be next step. But I find that extra time is really important for two people to talk. Yeah. So that is just, I don't know if you would weigh in on differently, but I think I would have done that if it was a single homeowner, done what you did or tried to help. Let's come up with a solution that you're comfortable with next step, rather than step out. Unless it was two people. I mean, two people, like that space, that's going to be the space that you want to give them to, to talk it through. But how do you view that? Is that, you think that's still a good practice to give 15 minutes for time with a single homeowner rather than something else? Or every situation is different?
Yeah, I think every situation is different. I think, like I said, I think both of these could be used pretty much interchangeably. I think, yeah, if it's a single homeowner, she's probably just going to get more anxious if you go out to the car.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, either way, I mean, you just got to feel the situation out and, but really there's anxiety about writing the check. There's anxiety about not moving forward. There's anxiety about not getting closer to the destination, which is getting this fixed, especially if there's significant pain, like y'all kind of alluded to. So yeah, I don't know if there's a recipe for if this, then this, and if this, then this, but kind of read the situation and know that either one of those is probably a good way to handle that, Yeah. Okay. Any other feedback? No, but like I said, I thought you did a very good job. It's just an alternative solution. And I think they're both plug and play. Either one of them will work well.
Yeah,
I've run into that scenario before. And one thing, I just offered up to post date the check, and that reduced a lot of anxiety because they had that extra time. So.
Mm-hmm.
So Ryan, now I've been doing it before where the post dated check, I turn it, I turn the paperwork in and hold the check and send it in. But that was one, I think Fran didn't want to process until she actually had it physically or something. So now we need to, I know this isn't time for that, but we need to wait until that day to send jobs sold and everything, correct?
Under the new thing, yes, correct.
Okay. All right. Sorry to get us off track.
No, that's good. It's a good question. All right, cool. We got a homeowner. We got a DC.
I'll be the DC.
Good. You want to pick your homeowner like Charlie, or you want to do it rando, or what?
I'm not picky. I'll sell to anyone.
I'll be the homeowner.
There we go.
Except for Deuce.
Too late.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chris. That looks good. So yeah, can you send this to us, or can you send this are you going to send us a proposal or something?
Yeah, absolutely. If you feel like, you need some time or something like that, I can definitely, you will be getting a full proposal.
Yeah, just with the 7 days, probably just, take some time to think about it,
Yeah, no, I definitely understand the, desire to want to take some time and make sure it's the right decision for you. Absolutely. Real quick, if you don't mind, let's just take that 7 days and this timeline altogether off the table. And it's just me and you as a team right now, kind of reflecting on everything we discussed today. Do you see any barriers or any potential obstacles that stand in the way of you really becoming Southwest Exterior's newest family member?
Oh, that's a good question. So yeah, we had, like what I mentioned earlier, we had somebody come out before you, and then we have one other person, coming out in a couple of days. So yeah, I just want to kind of see what they had to show us.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes all the sense in the world. And good on you, first of all, for having that consumer wisdom to take advantage of the competitive market and seek alternative solutions for your home. I think that's awesome. You got to build the dream for yourselves. If you don't mind me asking, yeah, absolutely. If you don't mind me asking, when you were doing some research and kind of deciding which companies you were going to invite out to your home, as you kind of initially assessed things, where did you think Southwest Exteriors was going to compare with the other companies, specifically when we're talking about, the overall experience, the quality of product, the overall installation, especially based off the reviews you read and stuff like that? Where would you kind of rank us?
Yeah, it's a good question too. So, we had just initial research, we'd heard Southwest Exteriors forever and always heard, that Southwest Exteriors was, a little more on the expensive side, but also having read reviews and talked to some other people too, that just know your reputation preceded you. So yeah, there was really nothing negative that we found. So yeah, we figured, you guys were going to be kind of top notch, when it came to just overall experience, communication, service after the fact, and then just your longevity in the industry too. So yeah, we had Window World out before, and it was not an experience like we've had, this evening. So yeah, we're just still thinking, still wanting to kind of, just keep that next appointment at this point. So
yeah, no, I definitely understand that. And I appreciate your honesty and willingness to share that. That's awesome. So here today, after everything we discussed, it'd be that 25,000, and that gets all of those Vista Mark windows, full labor and installation, all sales taxes and fees, everything is included in there. Do you believe that, everything we talked about matches up kind of with the experience you had tonight versus, as you had already mentioned, Window World, didn't really provide you the experience you were kind of hoping for. So far, have we been kind of right on track with where you ranked us? What are your expectations for the next company, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, you've definitely exceeded expectations this evening, and we're more expensive than Window World in all honesty, but I think we kind of expected that. Yeah, don't really know what to expect with the next company. It's Renewal by Anderson. So, we have heard that they're a little expensive, but so yeah, there's no doubt. There's definitely no doubt in our minds that, if we went with you guys at this point, that our experience would be excellent. And I definitely have confidence that that the window that you showed us and that we went with, would meet our expectations for sure, if not exceed our expectations. So.
Well, awesome. I'm definitely glad to hear that. So, if you don't mind me asking, at this point, do you feel like you would be willing to pay less to get a lesser product or kind of have a lesser experience with someone who has the privilege of doing a service on your home?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what would I guess what would I be giving up to pay less?
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately that's kind of for you to decide. That's the great thing about taking advantage of the competitive market and kind of having multiple companies out here. By the
Yeah.
sounds of it, though, your experience with Window World, I mean, it really sounds like honestly you're probably giving up your client experience a little bit, maybe sacrificing in product, definitely sacrificing in product actually, and probably sacrificing a little bit in installation as well. Um, and,
Yeah.
I kind of got the feeling that maybe you've already shut the door on Window World.
Yeah, those aren't things we're willing to sacrifice for sure. I mean, we're gonna be in the house for forever. So, we know this is a big investment and definitely don't want to pay less in order to get less,
Absolutely,
I guess is what I'm trying to say. So,
yeah, no, I definitely understand that, especially if this is your forever home. I mean, you want something that's going to last forever.
Yeah.
The Mark windows, especially with our expert installation, that's definitely going to get you that. And I'll be honest with you, Renewable by Anderson, obviously a really great company. They provide an excellent product, but they're going to be considerably more expensive. On average, on average, their windows can be anywhere from $2,600 to $2,900 a window. And for those 20 windows,
wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if you're looking at high 50s, low 60s easy, without even batting an eye, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, again, it is a fiberglass window, which if you're interested in that, as we talked about before, we could always take a closer look at the Marvin line, which also offers a fiberglass window, going to be much more economical than Anderson. So I guess my question for you is, knowing kind of how much more they're going to cost, and as you've said, you feel like we're going to provide the best experience. Does that seem like an investment that would be worth it for the home? I mean, does it really seem worth it to kind of keep that appointment and see what they have to say if you already know that we're going to provide the best experience and we have that forever solution for you that you're seeking?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is it going to energy wise, or is it going to perform differently? Like, is it going to be more energy efficient in some way, or?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I know energy efficiency was what your primary concern is, as we talked about earlier, along with longevity. What I'll say is, when it comes to fiberglass windows, there's usually a trade-off. They're going to have a higher heat deflection typically, but you're kind of compromised in things like air infiltration and stuff like that. And so honestly, vinyl windows, especially the composite vinyl ones we're talking about, they're probably going to be a little bit more efficient overall. To be honest, they're not going to have the durability of fiberglass, but these windows with the composite vinyl, especially following that SunShield technology, they're going to last forever regardless. So, it'll be it'll be well past your generation before you have to worry about those windows again.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely, if it's pretty much going to be on par when it comes to energy efficiency or better for the vinyl, yeah, I definitely don't want to pay more for that. So, yeah.
Yeah, because another consideration is, the lead times too. You mentioned that you really want to try and get this project moving. Unfortunately, lead times aren't getting any shorter. And I can assure you that, the other window companies, they're all looking at similar, if not longer lead times. So, I mean, again, if you kind of know you don't want to pay less for a lesser experience, and it sounds like you're not necessarily willing to pay a whole lot more for the same experience, is there really not a reason that we shouldn't just kind of get you in the queue and get things rolling and allow Southwest Exteriors the privilege of taking care of you and your home?
Yeah. Do you mind giving us like a few minutes to talk about it? Just because we do have that appointment set and just kind of want to, it's a big amount to consider. Do you mind? Yeah, just giving us a little time tonight to talk about it, and then we can go do yay or nay.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely understand the need to want to talk about this privately without me hovering over you. Absolutely. Regardless of whether or not you want to team up with us tonight, I still owe you a full proposal. So if it's okay with you, I'll just step out and I'll kind of start working on that. That way, worst case scenario, if you're not quite ready to pull the trigger on it, at least you have that proposal. You have all that information ready for you to make a decision. Take me about 15 to 20 minutes or so. Do you think that'd be long enough?
Yeah, I think it'll probably just be a few minutes. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, but no, that sounds great. I mean, yeah, we would need the proposal one way or another. So
Yeah, perfect. So I'll go ahead and step out. I'll start working on that. And, after you've discussed it and you've kind of made your decision, if you just want to shoot me a text or come out and knock on the window, whatever's easiest, most convenient for you,
yeah.
We'll take it from there.
Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna, I mean, we're just gonna chat for probably 5 to 7 minutes, and then I'll step outside and let you know. So
Awesome. Looking forward to hearing from you.
awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Cool. Good job. Couple little things, but what feedback do y'all have? You did a good job.
Chris, I really liked, was taking some notes, how you put flesh on that. What is that? Where did you think we fell or whatever? You mentioned specifically reviews, quality, overall experience, and you really put some flesh on that question. Where did you think we ranked in that? And you let him answer that. I thought that was really well done. It doesn't have it in our, our notes there, but that's almost worth to put some flesh on there. So I thought that was good. Yeah. And then you asked him, another question about where do you think we ranked? And then what was that other company going to rank? I think there might be some power in just asking one question at a time. Cause sometimes people don't answer 2 questions. So if you maybe slow down, try to get that, that one question in the other. I don't know if anybody feels differently, but I think that could have a little bit more power. And you may not have to repeat yourself, but yeah, that's a little bit of what I had. There's some other product stuff in there and maybe a simpler way to get to the solution. But I thought that was very, very well done. I love the dialogue, the conversation that you were able to maintain.
I definitely got to slow down. Let's just get that out in the open.
I mean, I'll just say from my perspective, I was really trying to think like as, a homeowner thinking about replacing 25 windows. And I didn't, I think it didn't feel pushy, felt comfortable. The questions made sense. So yeah, and I was just kind of improvising with my answers too. So might have gone a little longer than necessary.
Cool. Yeah, I think you did that very well. I think that's a gift you have, making it comfortable, not making it seem pushy. That's definitely a strength. What else? Okay, well, I have just a few feedback points for you. First of all, when we're trying to create a comparison, if you will, we know internally, because we have surveys daily that come back to us, we know that we provide an exceptional client experience. To somebody that's never gone through the process or has never worked with company A or company B or company us, client experience is like, it's kind of like an intangible. So if we're trying to create dissimilarities or similarities, it's easiest to stick to product, install, warranty. Those are tangible things we can grasp, feel, rather than that big. And again, it's something we pride ourselves on, but trying to communicate that to a prospective client is kind of off in the clouds somewhere, right? Unless you break out the guild qualities and read through them to see what encompasses client experience. It's pretty hefty, idea to grasp, because there's so many dynamics to it. So when we're trying to compare company A, company B, it's a good practice to stick to those three basic things: is product, install, warranty. Those people can touch them, they can feel them, they know what that should be and what it shouldn't be. Those are easy comparison points. Client experience to a company that mentions it and a company that doesn't even mention it. It's kind of like, well, the company, is it that important? The other guys didn't even say anything about it. Maybe y'all just do the same thing and you just chose to mention. So it's kind of that, it's, you know, unless you have somebody that really gets what we do. So that would be my first point for you. Keep it simple and keep it the same every time. Product, install, warranty. We can stack ourselves up to any company based on those three criteria. And there's stuff people that can put their hands on. Next thing, and this is an important thing. We just got to make sure we get right. RVA is not fiberglass, it's Fibrex. So that's a big deal because, you know, again, credibility. If we're talking about fiberglass and they're like, no, it's, the guy said it's like a wood composite something, your credibility is going to be questioned. So just so everybody, especially Dwayne, Deuce, you know, for you guys coming into Windows, and Ginny, I don't know if you've known this or whatever, but RVA is, their frame material is called Fibrex, Fibrex. It's a wood composite. It's just like Trex decking, basically. It's a wood composite product. It is not a fiberglass product like Marvin.
Yeah, I'm annoyed I made that mistake because I used the Marvin slide, the stat slide all the time to point that out. So yeah, I don't know why that came out, but yeah, thank you.
Okay. And I guess the newest thing, because I just ran into this, the newest thing on this job I'm selling today, they're telling people that with fiberglass, you need to wax your windows. It's the lamest thing I've ever heard. Like you'd wax a surfboard for traction. The RBA guy told this lady that she needs to wax her windows if she gets fiberglass. And the lady instantly, because I'd done enough to build credibility and, you know, hurt the credibility of Anderson, because I knew, she texted me immediately and was like, hey, is this true? You know, because even to her, it didn't sound right. So that's what this guy, and I don't know if it's standard practice or if this some genius task or, you know, that this guy's brought upon himself to say that if you get fiberglass windows, you need to wax them to take care of them. And I was just like, both of us were just, I told her, I'm like, hey, if you find somebody that's waxed their windows, please let me know because I'd like to talk to them just to see how that process works. And she started laughing. But, you know, so that's what RBA is saying about fiberglass, just sidebar. The next thing is we started talking about efficiency, right? To kind of lay out the cost comparison. You know, how much of any window is frame? Anybody? You do this every day.
5%.
If, right? So let's talk about something of greater significance, right? And we can do it in a way where it's a positive, it's not a negative about one or the other being better. What do we know? So we've talked about this before. Look at the window, have the person look at the window. Hey, Julie, look at that window. How much of that window, in your opinion, you know, there's no right or wrong answer. In your opinion, how much of that window is glass? I don't know, 97%. I'd agree with you. I would probably say 98, but 97, absolutely, 100% agree with you. What I will tell you about, you know, as we look at the price differential that I've shared with you from Renewal by Anderson to us, we have the exact same glass as Renewal by Anderson. Exact. Comes from the Cardinal plant, has the same coatings, low E366. It's the exact same glass in the Renewal by Anderson window, which is making up 97% of that window and 97% of Renewal by Anderson's window and 97% of this Vistamark window. So really, when you ask me, you know, what is the difference? What am I paying for? What am I going to get? 97% of what gives you or doesn't give you energy efficiency is the exact same quality as the Renewal by Anderson window that I shared with you costs $2,600 to $2,900 per window. So see what I just did there? I didn't say a bad thing about Renewal by Anderson. What did I do? I elevated our window to Renewal by Anderson. I didn't have to say that Fibrex stuff or, you know, ours is a sun shield and it's way better. You know, I just brought everybody up. So I don't look like a bad guy, or I don't get perceived as a bad guy, like I'm trying the whole theirs is better, theirs is worse. I elevated through a rational way of that 97% is the same exact as our 97%. So see what you know, and then the cost comparison is like, well, what the heck? 97% of this and that are the same. And this one's $2,900, this one's $1,300. And I feel comfortable with you. You know, you see what I'm saying there? So that's when we get into that mix of, oh yeah, I got a quote for Anderson, or I'm having Anderson come out. I think that should be our play. And I know we've talked about this before, that whole glass is 98, 97% of your window. That's the gold mine to use for RBA, because then I didn't talk bad about their cost, right? I just said, hey, our window has the same exact glass and it's just happened to be at a lower price point. So that was my last feedback on that. You know, and that's something we all need to get, because you know, I use that 97% in all kinds of different ways. But that verbiage, that story, that needs to be in your toolkit when you're trying to rationalize things with people and trying to talk about, well, why is yours so much less, or why is theirs so expensive? Huh? I don't know. I'll tell you what I know though. Take a look at that window for me. How much of that window is glass? And do what I just did. So that is a good way to rationalize costs with people, you know, in very realistic, you know, it has integrity. You're not fabricating or talking about NASA or spaceships or our glass is the same as blah, 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 whatever. It's a very realistic way of talking to people about quality versus quality. Okay. Any questions on that? But overall, I thought you did good. I think those are just conceptually some things that, you know, they should be go-tos. Both of those should be in the toolkit. Is comparison. Let's stick to product, install, warranty. And then that somewhere in your toolkit, it's a multi-function tool. It's kind of like a Leatherman. It can be used for multi-purpose things, but that whole 97%, 98%, Julie, take a look at your window. Tell me how much of that is glass. That's a very good multi-tool concept to be able to use when it applies. And then in this situation, I think it applied, you know, precisely. But like I said, you did a great job. You know, I think you did an exceptional job of making him feel comfortable and not, you know, pushing to the point of unprofessionalism. But those two things, and then maybe the RBA thing was just a fluke. So just make sure that doesn't happen in the home. But those things should be in your toolkit for everybody. Comparing products, it's product, install, warranty. And then have that 97%, you know, how much of your window is glass, have that story in your toolkit to pull out whenever you might need it, because it applies in multiple circumstances.
Yes, sir.
All right. Overall, like I said, great job. And the most important thing is, you know, being able to do it and have somebody be comfortable. So you nailed that, which is great. All right, let's go next.
I'll go.
Go for it.
All right.
Pick your
I guess Dwayne is going to be the homeowner.
Okay.
I
All right,
will.
Dwayne. No rabbit holes, man.
No, of course not. Not me.
I was waiting.
Not
I was
you.
waiting for you to say
No
Dwayne's
rabbit
the DC. All right, let's go. Get it.
All right.
Well, thank you, Jenny, for coming out today, number one. And I appreciate everything you've informed us of. But I really think at this point, what me and the wife are going to have to do is give it a little thought.
Okay. You know, I absolutely understand that and totally understand, fully understanding to think on something like this. It's a big project. It's a big deal. Let me just ask you real quick, if we took off all of our timelines, we took off all of our pricing and all of our kind of, you know, timelines for those pricings, is there anything that you see being an obstacle or a barrier to choosing Southwest Exterior to put these windows in for you?
Not at this point, Jenny. I think you've been informative. We've just moving into the home. We have a lot of
Oh no. This could be one of those commercials for AT&T
Right?
or whatever it is.
Exactly. You show up in a
Did I,
costume.
I've been seeing,
Get off
I've been
my
seeing y'all
Wi-Fi, man.
freeze. Did
Get off
y'all
my
hear any of that? Is it,
You're
I
frozen
don't know.
up,
It might
dude.
be on. It might be on my end because I've been seeing y'all freeze a lot today. So sorry
Yeah.
about that.
No worries.
So I'll repeat that. No, Jenny, you've been very helpful. Thank you. I think me and Mrs. Double Barrel will need a little time to review everything and think about it today.
Okay. So I appreciate you saying that about Southwest Exteriors. I appreciate that you've developed some trust in the company and what we're talking about here. This is really, when you say you need time, is it really kind of just time to kind of digest it, or is there a financial aspect, kind of planning purposes? You mentioned that you have another project going on. Is it about putting that on the front burner? I'm trying to get an idea of what you need for time.
No, I understand that, Jenny. Thank you, and I'll be happy to offer you a little clarity. I think we have that budget. We have several things we want to get done. This is priority, though. We do want to get it done. I think we just need to talk about it a little bit and decide which one's going to be first.
Awesome. Okay. So on that same vein, I just want to also make sure that you are feeling 100% empowered and informed by everything that we've talked about today. So do you feel like that? Have I been clear on anything, or is there anything that you have questions about or need more clarity on or information on?
What is the turnaround time on this? Again, you said, would you remind me of that, please?
Our hardy jobs are 6 weeks out right now. So I don't know right now. Okay, or actually, so I don't know why I went to hardy. The Vista Mark windows that you're looking at right now, we're about 12 weeks out on production. So really we'd be looking like right around February, getting them put in.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very impressed. It's not like we're going to go with anybody else, Jenny. I think we are very impressed with the reviews we've read, with your professionalism. I really believe just me and the wife here, we're looking at each other. We need to talk about this dollar amount and be on the same page.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I just want to kind of make sure that I'm giving you and your wife enough time to really kind of talk and to kind of come to a mutual decision on this. And like I said, I really appreciate your trust and confidence in us, and I love hearing that you are going to go with us. So why don't we do this? I'm going to step outside. I'm going to sit in my car for like 20 minutes or so, and I'm going to actually prepare a proposal for you and your wife to be able to look over and be able to kind of see and be able to kind of rehash what we talked about. If in that 20 minutes you and your wife decide that, you know what, we don't want to waste any more time, let's get this work order done, let's get a check going, let's get this installation happening, it'll take us like 15 minutes. If not, then no worries, you'll have the proposal in your hand, and I reach out to you. What do you think? A couple of days, do you think, or would you rather reach back out to me after you've come to your decision?
Well, that's pretty impressive that you're going to get out there and do that for me right now, Jenny. It might be in the next 15 minutes, but I'll tell you, in the next 5 minutes, I'll know pretty sure after talking to her what it's going to be, though. I can say that for sure.
Okay. Well, awesome. Well, then what I'm going to do also, while I'm out there doing your proposals, I'm going to go ahead and fill out the work order. So that'll be done. So when you and your wife decide in 5 minutes that you're moving forward, we'll be ready to sign on the line.
I didn't say we're going to move forward now, so we're going to talk about it.
All right. Well, I'll make it really easy for you when you come to that decision.
We might. I guarantee you, we might. So.
All right.
Sounds good.
So that's what I do. Yeah, and then I'll text you when I'm pulling off, and then or when I send that email to you, and And then, yeah, so again, just tell me when you'd like me to contact you. What would be a really good time to reach out to you to kind of see where you're sitting with your decision?
Well, if we don't pull the trigger today, Jenny, I would say by tomorrow, because if it's not today, we're going to decide pretty quick.
Perfect. Okay. Well, if I don't hear from you, I'll be giving you a shout tomorrow afternoon around 5 o'clock just to kind of see where you're at.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Sounds great, Dwayne. Thank you.
Good. Good. How'd that feel from your end, Dwayne?
I liked it. I was impressed by several steps. I mean, if I didn't already know it all, I would be very impressed with especially the part of her going out there and getting so much done right away for us either way. So it felt comfortable on my end.
Good.
Except for that part that she assumed I was going to say yes.
Because you just said you were going to say yes. You said, I'm going to probably come to you in 5 minutes and say yes. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
well, how about I just write the work order up? And
I'm giving you a hard time, Jenny. I'm just kidding. No, it felt very comfortable. I was very impressed with the whole process. Jenny, you did a great job.
Good.
You'll all freeze again?
Yeah, you're struggling big time.
Am I?
Yeah.
Am I freezing a lot?
Yeah.
you're frozen right now.
Oh man.
Thankfully, the audio's coming through kind of pretty good, so we're good there.
Okay. Let me take it off Wi-Fi. Maybe that'll help. Hold on one second.
So what other feedback do we have? What other observations?
One thing that I thought, I think you did a great job. I think you had, that positivity flowing. There's one point that he said, we're going to go with you. And I would have just been like, I'm not going to say surprised, but like, I think there could have been room there for like, I know you were thinking, I could tell you're thinking, what do I say next? But just, gosh, in that moment, just feel it like, wow, thank you. You're wrapping that up. Like he just gave you a door and you're going to run right through it and you're going to thank him for that. It sounds like this is exactly the kind of relationship, you're kind of solidifying the whole, really appreciate that trust and confidence. This is why we exist. And you're just basically taking that stake down the road. So there's no other question that he said, I'm going to go with you. And you just give him a right back at you, like a warm welcome, almost like welcome to the Southwest Exterior family there. And that's done. And it's just it sounds like it's just about moving the money around, and making sure that you're comfortable with the way you pay for it. That's how I would have thought about it.
When I said it in my mind, I was thinking, we're going to go with you. The question is when. That was as I was saying it, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So the important question there is why when? Why is when the answer?
Right. What's holding? What's going to change between now and 24 hours from now, or down 5 minutes from now?
Which he told us.
Yep.
Right. He's got a bunch of other projects and he's got a budget.
Yep. Just gotta line everything up.
That was the important piece of information. That was the needle in the haystack. So we're on the right track, and this is exactly into the note that I wrote down. So what else do we have?
I mean, I know it's kind of hard because you were talking about different products, but I mean, you could have just come back to the solution, right? Potentially, what's more important, the windows that are saving money or whatever, just kind of revisit the whole project and why they were excited about that maybe. Does that make sense?
Yeah, to kind of just to kind of revisit that pain a little bit. Well, you do have leaking windows, and this is, it's where you're prioritizing these projects. I want you to keep in mind that you've got some pretty serious issues that aren't going to get better by putting them on the back burner.
Yeah, or you told me, this was the biggest thing that you wanted to do, or when we first came here, it said, your patio was the priority and the windows were second. But, now that we've looked at how much energy you're losing through your windows, does it make sense to kind of bump those up as far as a priority?
Well, I think you said that, Dwayne. You said the windows are the priority.
Yep, that's the last of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we'd change, but it's a good conversation, especially when somebody's got that extra project or more than one thing going on. It's like a technique of how to prioritize in their mind the importance of this project.
Right. And then the one more thing that would be after agreeing that it's prioritized would be having that moment to talk to the wife, that making sure Mrs. Double agrees that it's prioritized. So just a few more minutes there. Yeah.
Yep.
In the homeowner's mind. My homeowner that I just was.
Yes, you were a good homeowner, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I got
to my own horn, but
just for clarification, my 6-hour drive back from Louisiana turned into an 11-hour drive because of construction and accidents. So I'm on very little sleep here. So, but I just thought
I'm sorry. I-10 is just a disaster coming from Louisiana. Always.
Okay, let's not derail.
Okay, sorry.
So yeah, I agree with everything there. I totally agree with what Charlie said. Man, that's awesome. That's such great news. Thank you for that. Trust and confidence.
Yeah.
I think, and that's why I think the most critical thing he said was, I got other projects and I got to figure out the budget. So that was what I wrote down, is let's talk about that. So a minute ago, you told me you were going to go cash. Well, you've had 5-10 minutes since we've been going back and forth here, having some friendly banter. You've had 5-10 minutes to think about it. Are you still thinking cash? Or have you maybe, in the back of your mind, is that 6 month 0% option something you're considering to give you some, some free time, so to speak, because all these other projects, you told me they weren't going to offer you financing, you're going to have to come out of pocket. So I think that's a conversation that really needed to be had to, maybe bring down that barrier of other projects and budget. One, do you still agree to the payment method that you selected, or is there a better option based on some teaser commentary you could throw out there? And then, doing what you did, give him some time, whatever. He was throwing you a lot of positive language, which was great. So, but I think that needed to be, because how people, oh yeah, that's it. And then you talk to them 5 minutes later, they're like, oh, well, we can't pay for all that. I mean, we're going to have to do that as part of our home equity. And then that means something else is going to have to fall off, or, whatever. And you wouldn't do financing if somebody had an open home equity, but, oh, we had this nest egg of money and we're trying to figure out how to disperse it. Well, I have the flexibility to give you 6, 12, 18 months, 0%. So you're not paying anything more than you should, but it's going to alleviate some of that tension on the budget. Is that appealing in any way? Or, it sounds like we're moving this thing pretty far down the field. I just want to make sure we get all our ducks in the proper line. Is that cash option you selected still the better option? Or do we now maybe need to think of something else to eliminate that problem that you told me about with all these projects and this much budget? So I think that was really the question that needed to be honed in on. And then, okay, you do that, either we're sticking with it, or now you got this new information that's opened your eyes to another possibility of eliminating some of that burden that you're feeling. I'm going to go out here in 15 minutes, get this proposal all done for you, blah, blah, blah. But that's my feedback on that. I thought you did a great job with empathy cushions, did a really good job on that. So nice work.
Right.
That makes sense, Dwayne? I mean, would that have had an impact on you if that would have?
No, I agree. I think that would have made sense, because that's where I was, is how am I going to pay for all this, and what's the first one I'm going to do? So revisiting those options would be a good avenue to take. I agree.
Worst thing that's going to happen, worst thing is, yes, that's still what we're going to do. The best thing is you open his eyes to something he didn't consider 5 minutes ago. And now you got a whole new pathway that's alleviating that tension that he told you about.
Yep.
So either way, you're winning.
Yep.
Okay, cool. 11:40. I'd like to get, let's see, did everybody go?
I haven't gone yet. I haven't been to DC yet.
Okay. And Dwayne hasn't either, right?
No.
Okay.
Right.
Try to knock those out. I want to stop probably about noon because I got to get ready for that call with Vendo. So,
Okay.
but this is good stuff. I feel like we're using our time wisely. So go for it. Whoever wants to go.
Charlie's my homeowner.
Yeah, Joseph, really appreciate your time. And I think, as I told you before when we first got here, just kind of doing research right now. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I definitely understand that. I appreciate you, doing all the research, and also just appreciate all your time and attention. I know we've covered a whole lot of stuff today. So definitely understand needing time to process all of that and kind of continue to think about it. So just kind of, if we could for just a second, just removing the timelines, remove the 30-day, remove the 7-day. Outside of those things, I mean, are there any obstacles or barriers that you see at this point that are standing between you and getting together with us at Southwest Exteriors for this project?
I mean, a little more time, just for research and, just obviously money. That's the only other thing is, trying to make my money go as far as I possibly can with the windows. Those are the only two things really.
Okay. No, I understand that for sure.
With you guys, I think you've been really helpful today.
Well, thank you for saying that. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I definitely understand, needing more time, and also, as a homeowner and consumer myself, living within a budget and having to, make those decisions. This is a big one for sure. So it sounds like there's kind of two things: is you're wanting to be able to do more research. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna have a couple more companies out, or they're already scheduled for.
Okay.
For this weekend. So.
Okay, gotcha. Well, thank you for your honesty, and I definitely understand wanting to do that due diligence. I can tell just from our interaction today that you like to do your research and you like to make sure that you're making the right decision. So, I mean, can I just ask you? Were we the first ones that you've had?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
There was another guy, but they didn't show up. So you're the first one that appointment.
Okay, gotcha. Well, glad we showed up, and it's been helpful for you up to this point. So, I mean, let me just ask you. I mean, I know that from the sound of it, you probably do some research before you even make a phone call. In your research before you even called us out and before you called the other companies to make those appointments. I mean, where would you say that Southwest Exteriors kind of fell in comparison to the other companies that you've been considering for this project?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. I just, based on Google and a lot of stuff that I heard through Nextdoor, you guys had the most reviews. You had the best reviews. And I always like to deal with local companies, because that's just important to me. So, had another, I get mailers from all the time from one other company. I like, okay, so since I spent so much on mailing to me, probably should owe them a appointment. And then another one is kind of looks like maybe a little bit smaller of a local company, but they have a lot of reviews. I mean, not as many reviews, but they're pretty decent. So I guess I'd say you have the best and the most, probably number one for that category.
Okay. I mean, is that something that's a big factor for you, just having good reviews and hearing what other people have had to say?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. And it sounds like too, are you, I mean, at this point, I don't know if you've kind of made this decision yet, but are you fairly committed to using a local company, like a company that's local and not like a national
Yeah,
chain or?
that's yeah. That feels better to me.
Okay,
Just keep it.
okay, gotcha. Well, I mean, I'm not, I don't know which other companies you're talking about, but just, based on the 20 windows that we have looked at tonight and the 19750, I mean, is there anything that you would pay less in order to remove some of the things and I'm talking specifically about, the product that we're looking at, our installation process done by, the installers that I introduced you to earlier, and the warranty. Is there any of that you would change or that you would compromise on to get a lower price?
No, I wouldn't want any of that. Any less of that, no,
Okay,
sir.
gotcha. Okay. Okay. And I mean, do you think these other companies are gonna uh, have something comparable or are gonna compare just based on the reviews that you've seen? I mean, do you think they're gonna compare in that way?
I guess I don't know until I visit with them, I guess, and unless you could shed some light on it. Anderson's coming out, and then I can't even remember, some kind of another little small local company guy. So I don't know if you've ever had any dealings with them, but yeah, yeah, I guess I don't know until I visit with them.
Okay, gotcha. Well, yeah, and I definitely I don't want to disrupt that process or try to derail you from doing that in any way. I mean, I'm somewhat familiar with Anderson. It's they make a great window. Performance wise, it's gonna, when it comes to the actual glass of the, in the window, the same glass that you're gonna get, in this Vista Mark line that we've been looking at tonight is the same glass that Anderson uses.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and I do know, I can't speak specifically, exact numbers, but I know from quite a few other people have told me that they are, quite a bit more expensive. Uh, Sometimes double, what the number that we're looking at for 20
Wow.
windows. So
Wow.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I know you said you feel kind of obligated to to take that appointment because they've been spending so much money on marketing to you. So I don't know if that changes your mind on that at all. But it sounds like you still want to have the local guys come out too.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't want to pay double for my window. So if it's the same glass, is that basically the same efficiency then? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep. Same glass. Same low E coating.
Yeah.
Same
Well,
argon gas fill. Yep.
yeah. If Anderson's a national company, I probably would have them at the bottom of the list based on who I value to work with. So I don't know if it makes sense to visit with them anymore.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so I mean, at this point, so it sounds like you still want to have the other company out. Again, I don't know who it is or what kind of windows that they use. I definitely want to respect that. And just before we part ways tonight, was there anything left? Any questions left that I didn't answer that I could help answer, or anything that I failed to do or to inform you in any way?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you shed a lot of light on the glass and same as Anderson. And yeah, the biggest thing is that I don't want any less warranty. I really don't want anything less than what you guys would provide. And you have the most experience. So I appreciate you, reminding me about that, the value I get with you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it sounds like you know at this point that if you did decide to go with us, that you're gonna get what you need, and
Yeah,
you're gonna
absolutely.
get really everything that you're looking for.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for saying that. I mean, I definitely appreciate that. So, well, I mean, if I can ask you, do you think at this point, like if you know that you're probably leaning away from Anderson at this point, does it make sense to keep the appointment with the other company, or are you comfortable at this point, taking the next step with us and getting this project started?
Yeah, I think so. Let's do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that trust and confidence, and welcome to the Southwest Exteriors family. I'll get your work order going.
I like you.
Good. I like you too, man.
Thanks. Oh, push over.
I like you clothes.
Why not?
Woo, let's do it.
I wasn't sure where to go,
Yeah.
because I didn't know who the other company was,
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of gave me a little softball there at the end, like everything that you're offering is everything that we want, and we don't want to compromise any of that. So, so I just went with it.
Yeah, no, you did a good job, man. It was, I could see you fighting through it, which was good. I mean, that's why we're doing this. So from your perspective, since you were the homeowner, what did you see? What did you feel, Charlie?
Well, yeah, I definitely felt comfortable with Joseph. I didn't feel pressure at all. I think that's definitely your strength, is that there's not that pressure. I felt really good about it. Let me do what I wanted to do, because I told him what I wanted to do, and he wasn't trying to convince me otherwise. He was just asking some really good questions. So I thought that was awesome. I felt like I was in control of it. You know what I mean? Which many homeowners want to be in the control of their own decision. But if that's not any type of typical sales type of thing where, oh, well, why don't you do this, or we're the best and all that kind of stuff. I didn't get any of that from you, Joseph, and I know that's why you're on this team, and you're gonna do incredible. But that I don't know. I kind of wanted you to kind of be a little bit more maybe a little bit more confident from a standpoint of asking about the last company. You said that they're a smaller company. You said it had less reviews, but their reviews were decent. Let me ask you, with a smaller company, do you feel like you're going to have maybe the same installation experience, or the same warranty? I might ask something like that, but I thought you did a really good job, man.
Yeah, I was definitely racking my mind while also trying to stay engaged in the conversation of how do I identify what this company is, and kind of poke some holes in it. But
well, I mean, I guess you could ask who it was. I mean, sometimes I find that people, they don't know who it is because they just don't remember who it is. Southwest Exterior sticks out in my mind, and Anderson does, but oh yeah, this is other company. I didn't even know who that is, just because I needed a third. So it's possible that you could do that.
Yeah.
How you feel about that, Ryan? But
yeah, it was anything else? I mean, anything else that you have, or that you felt, or that you, from a consumer, we're trying to get him to get at, or anything?
I kept looking for you to get back to the script about am I getting every dime that I'm paying for? I mean, I'm sorry, I was still kind of waiting for that, Do you want to pay more? Do you want to pay less? Does it make sense? That's what I was looking for. I was looking for a little bit more commitment and confidence, I guess I could say. And then maybe just a question, I'm kind of fishing for this thing that's, maybe I could get better quality. Probably not, I'm looking at, is it come down to price? Am I willing to sacrifice it? I think if maybe stick to the script, then I would have felt real good about just going with you and kind of not having the need to go shop another company. I just set that appointment up. But yeah, that's all the feedback I have.
The only thing I think you did great working through that. That was the only thing I had, and I like how you brought it out at the end, but I think it may have served you a little bit better bringing it out sooner, but you kind of dabbled with step 6 in the time script and went back to the humble approach. I think that was awesome. Again, when Charlie in the very beginning, he kept saying, I need to do more research and I'm just going to take time to research. Like he probably said it 3 or 4 times. That might've been a good opportunity to bring that humble approach in right there and kind of get down to the root. What is it that he's trying to research? Hey, Charlie, if you don't mind me asking, what is it you're trying to research? And let him answer and then be like, okay, is there anything I could have done more? And do that humble approach there. Yeah. And I think that would have gotten things back on track. Maybe a little bit earlier for you.
That was exactly what I was thinking. And then you said, right after you said research, you said you've got some other quotes coming. And so I went the other route. But no, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, which it wasn't wrong.
I should have dug into that. Yeah.
It wasn't wrong the direction you went. It's just, you got to pick that way and go full force, right? You got to charge hard into it. So, which is what Charlie's saying is, just more confident is, just going with it, right? Here, this is the path I'm taking, and we're gonna trudge this path up pretty good. Okay. Anything else?
One thing that and it's I don't know if it belongs in the script or anything, but when people talk about going with a smaller company, a small business, is to because Southwest Exteriors, we're a small business, we're a small locally owned business, and the difference between us and the other company that you've got coming out is the fact that we've been around since 1989. So when it comes to that warranty, when it comes to who's been there and is going to continue to be there, I think we have some proof. So I want to make sure that you're really kind of thinking on that as you're deciding which company
when it comes from
the long term.
Thank you. I was just going to kind of hit on that too, Jenny. When it comes from a lifetime warranty perspective, not that there aren't other very good companies and competition in the San Antonio area, where do you feel more confident with your lifetime warranty? Something to that effect.
Yeah, real quick, what I love to say to clients whenever they bring up the local company thing, and there's like other local companies, I always bring up, that we are a local small company, but in spite of that, we have national recognition. James Hardy has us in their top 10, Guild Quality has us in their top 10 in the nation. So that always seems to get their attention when I do that. So
that's powerful.
Cool. Yeah, I thought you did a great job with empathy cushions. He teed it up for you. He said those 2 important things, right? And that second one I have underlined and starred, making my money go as far as possible. So that is what, it's like sitting down writing an essay. That's what we're going to write this essay about. So all the research I'm going to do, meaning the questions you're going to ask him, all the feedback I'm going to provide is based on this essay topic, which is making his money go as far as possible for him. Just like Ginny, just like, Chris, there was these, or Charlie, more so. They each said these one thing that was like, oh, huh. So that's your hot button. So that's what I took to be his hot button. most and best reviews, then I would, there was I think an opportunity to stop there. That's great. Well, thank you so much for saying that. Let me ask you, so most and best reviews, how did you translate that to price? What did that tell you, or what did that inform? Because you're a research guy, and I can gather that just from what you told me about your process and how you've done this. We had the most and the best reviews. How did that inform what you thought about where our price point might be? Right? Because what are we talking about? His number two, which is really his number one thing, is money and getting the most bang for his buck, not spending the least, but getting the most mileage for his money. So that's an important question to ask. Okay, so where did that translate? You said we had the most and the best reviews. Super, that's awesome. What did that, inform your thinking as to where we were going to be in the price point? Okay, I think that was a really good opportunity to ask that question. And then when it came down to it, what is it, step 5 or 6? 6. How much less, and this is if you didn't dive in. You mind telling me what that other company was? I don't know. That's a touchy-feely thing. You just got to feel or don't feel. But even if, let's just go the route of he didn't want to give it up, right? So it's anonymous. It's company XYZ. How much less would that other company have to be to make you feel good about working with another company or an alternative company that has less quantity and less quality reviews? You mentioned to me that you wanted to get the most bang for your buck. You want your dollar to go as far as possible. So if you're spending less of those dollars and they're going a whole lot less far, are we getting you closer to what you told me was so important about wanting to get the most bang for your buck? Or are we getting away from that because you're spending less, but you may have to do this project again in 4 or 5 years? That's I think the golden ticket there, at least is the way I was perceiving what he was saying, was like, how do I stretch my dollar as far as possible? Well, you don't stretch it as far as possible by spending less and getting a quarter of the lifespan in your windows. That's not a good financial move, right? So that was my only feedback. Again, it was pretty vague. You had a blank canvas. You had a blank canvas and you were trying to fill in all the dots and create something. And I thought you did a good job of it, but that's why we're doing this, is so we can all get better at it together, But I think that, that would be probably my biggest feedback for today. What's that one thing? Because they're going to say one thing, even if they don't want to show their cards, they're going to say that one thing because it's prominently on their mind. Mm-hmm. So what is that one thing? And then that's my topic of the essay. All my information gathering, all my statements are going to revolve around that essay topic. And I say most of you, probably 3 out of the 4 y'all that went had that one thing. And it came out. So let's find that. And then let's formulate our story on that whole one thing. And it saves a bunch of time because then you don't have to get into all this other junk. That doesn't matter. I don't care about your warranty. I want to make my dollar go as far as possible. How can I do that? If warranty is one of those things, great. But if it's not, don't waste time talking about it, because then we're going this way on the funnel, not this way. Right? So, but again, for the information that was out there, I thought you did a lot of stuff right, but those would be my things for you, is just, use the information that we're given, right? Use that information, silo it, and then formulate your whole thing, your whole dialogue around that one thing that we know is of utmost importance. So.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Just being able to listen and focus on one thing and narrow the scope of the conversation.
It's kind of fun. It's a challenge because we're not used to listening that intently to people. But in our job, the more intently you listen, the more money you're going to make. And not in a sleazy scumbag, dirtbag way, but you're going to better be able to serve people if you truly listen to what they're trying to tell you. Because just like we're not good listeners, we're not typically good communicators. We don't know how to say what we feel or what we're trying to say, right? That's why we have a hard job of trying to communicate stuff we use every day that's new to the person we're sitting across from. We can't speak like it's something we talk about every day because homeowners can't absorb that. So Yeah, it's you know, but that would be the big thing I think for today is find that one thing and then run with it, you know?
You may find that out during the consultation form, and be running with it.
It's a great point.
Makes me think, I don't know if I've been practicing active listening on that consultation form, and I noticed probably the best appointments I've had is, oh, so you're saying this and this, and they're like, yeah, you know, so they feel like I'm listening, and the, you know, if I'm not listening to the whole appointment and I get down to the end, I'm probably not going to be a very good listener then either. So my wife says.
Siloing info, so important. All right, it's 12:06, so we wanted to wrap this up about noon, so we're a couple minutes behind. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate it, guys. It was good. I'm going to stop the recording and we'll get our little prayer on.